So with any big project, there's always a lot of whys, and we had ours. But when we started, we found that we actually had a passion for it, and it's something that we could do together that we both really enjoy.
I started out by just building the waterfall because I wanted somewhere I could sit and listen to the running water. That would be kind of like an oasis away from everything.
Like a zen spot. And then you sat out there sometimes for like an hour or two a day just observing the waterfall. You love waterfalls. And that's kind of what got it started.
Yeah, I would hike out into nature to actually find these waterfalls, and then I decided to bring it to our own backyard. And then I realized that I can actually grow some vegetables and some fruits.
A lot better than that garden bit I built for you a few years ago, and all we grew were weeds. But here we've done a complete reconstruction of the side of the house. We affectionately called it Berry Alley, and all of this stuff you're seeing along the house was just crushed rock. We literally got on our hands and knees and scooped up the crushed rock and filtered it, and then sold and gave away all the crushed rock to people in the community that wanted it. But there was a lot of looky-loos walking by every day, and we got to noticing people's routines as they would watch us filter through all these rocks.
So in this front bed, I decided to plant quite a lot of herbs, like sage and thyme, and then we liked the idea of having a perennial green, like spinach, which was the sorrel, that leafy green stuff there. And we've got some strawberries there, some onions, a little mini food forest guild.
Yeah, really what we were trying to do is just experiment and test our skills and what we could grow, what would grow here. There's a lot of experimenting going on. But that bush right there is comfrey. That's comfrey, and that's actually a fantastic plant for what we had because we had a lot of clay soil. And the comfrey, it works to bring the nutrients from down there, breaking it up into the surface. So you can hack that thing right to the ground, and it's going to grow right back, and you can use the leaves and the stems and everything as compost.
I really wanted apple trees. I don't know what it is, but I really wanted an apple tree. And this little one was perfect. It was a super dwarf, small tree that I could get. And then the other one over here is Honeycrisp, also like a semi-dwarf apple tree.
So this was like our pride and joy. I hated every single time I came out to mow this section. All it was just lawn and rocky lawn. And we turned it into something magical. Everything in here we designed just off the cuff. I mean, Caitlyn did a lot of research and stuff, but just trying to implement it, the neighbors thought we were crazy. We'd put down cardboard to kill off all the grass, and it was like that for almost a year. And once we finally got the rocks, it was a constant battle back and forth between Caitlyn and I as to, I wanted more of a curve, she wanted less of a curve, so I would put the rocks out, and then she would go and she would change the rocks, and then after she was done, I'd go back and change them back. It was a lot of fun, and then I put in my cactus garden, and it was a bit of an experiment. The cactus on the left didn't do so well after the winter, but the one on the right, shortly after the video, it really took off. The cactus blooms are beautiful.
So then anywhere here where there was holes, I filled it with strawberries and sunflowers, some onions. We even planted corn and
It
some
failed.
squash in there, like just to kind of fill it out as best we could.
Yeah, again, we were just doing a lot of experimenting. Anything that looked pretty in the garden store, we're like, ooh, is it right for our zone? Yeah, it is. Okay, let's throw it in there and see how it goes. The big nemesis were the rabbits. So there were hares everywhere that would come and try and eat our strawberry plants to all of our shoots. Our lilies were big targets. But through it all, I think we learned a lot and we had a blast doing this together. If you look at the back, I actually changed our drainage coming off there for both our house and the neighbor's house. So while it was a dry creek, when it rained, it's connected in a Y connector at the head of the stream, and you could actually see a river coming down. It was amazing to see. But the way that we designed it with the curves, it also held on to a lot of the moisture. So this part of the garden really required very little watering.
And this rhubarb actually came from Rob's mom's garden in the Okanagan.
People say that you can eat the tops, but I just don't feel comfortable with that yet. Oh,
How is that?
juicy. Wow.
Good.
Very sweet.
So in between the two houses, we built these cedar box gardens. There were 4 by 6 feet, and we filled the bottoms with logs and sticks and leaves, and it all composted down.
So we, again, experimented, tried to figure out what we liked eating and seeing if it would grow. Lots of different varieties and stuff. But one of the cool things that we did is we just used the leaves from the lawn as compost.
We also took the castings from our basement worm farm and spread that across the top and made worm tea, which really helped our plants.
It was kind of gross, but it really worked well. There's a reason why it's called black gold. All the plants really enjoyed it, and it was actually quite easy to do and a convenient way to get rid of your food scraps.
In these beds, I wanted to optimize our food production, so I utilized the seed square. I think it's like a 1 foot by 1 foot planting guide of how to basically maximize all of your plantings.
And we had a drip irrigation system, so we had a timer that would irrigate it at certain times of the day with a simple drip method, and it worked great. It was very low maintenance.
We also had a lot of struggles with figuring out what vegetables to put where. This back bed basically had no sun for most of the day. It was our shade garden, and so I only was able to plant things there that didn't require full sun. And they grew fairly well. We were always out here harvesting kale. Welcome to our backyard oasis, which we began constructing in 2020.
Yeah, there's tons in here that need to be harvested.
Do you remember what varieties they are?
Come on my left side. You're just looking at it, and then just
Oh boy, look at them all.
yeah.
We gotta go get a bowl.
Oh,
What kind?
very blue.
Very blue.
Allie, it's your nose.
They like cascaps.
I don't know. Fun.
So we like to travel a lot, but there was a period of time when that just wasn't available. So we decided to make our own paradise in our backyard.
I had been going out hiking more in nature and finding a lot of peace in running water and waterfalls and creeks, and I just had the idea to make it myself in my own backyard. So I researched and probably watched over 100 videos on how to design and create this.
And so together with a lot of hard work and determination, we transformed our backyard into a paradise, or a little piece of paradise, with a waterfall. We built garden beds, filled them with plants, and just a place where we could go and just be still and watch our plants grow and watch our animals interact with the waterfall, the birds coming to the bird feeders, and how brave they were. It was just a place that you could sit and just, yeah, be still.
After we built all this and brought in all the flowers that were blooming, the birds and the insects just seemed to come in, and it was like a little ecosystem.
Everything from dragonflies, butterflies, a lot of chickadees and sparrows would come by and visit.
And all the bumblebees. We discovered a passion and a joy for working with our hands on these projects together.
And we were blessed in spite of all the debates and haggling over who gets to design this part and that part and how we want it. It was all just part of the big process. But we realized we wanted something more, maybe something bigger.
How do you feel, honey?
Excited, nervous, anxious, all those things.
Yeah, me too. But we did a thing.